Vaheguru, 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 Vaheguru.
So over here now, Sadhguru ji is saying that Pane, Thal, Sir, Sar Veh, Kamal Phulle Akash Jiu. Now keep in mind, we're talking about a soul bride that has pleased her husband, Lord Vaheguru ji. She's starting to understand all these concepts. How is it that, in which way, in which system is it that somebody gets to sit on a throne and somebody gets to that ends up begging? So at this part, what we normally do is we'll get the Sangat to try and guess some of the words. Some of them you will already know. So Pane, we've already done. Let's go to the next one. So Thal, just put your hands up. Just some of these should be quite quick. The reason I'm going to get you to do them is just so that we know we're all here and we're all thinking. So what does Thal mean? Thal? Sorry? No, that's Thali. Hanji? Hanji, Thal is Tarti, earth. Okay, excellent. Okay, so Sir? Yeah, head. Literally, that's what it means. So let's just put it into the context of this actual Panktiya now. Thal here means, so can mean place, dry land. It's referring to, so earth, but what type of earth? It's referring to dry land, so like a desert. Okay, so that's what the Thal here means. Sir, so meaning face, or on top of. So what we're hearing, you know when we say surface, on the surface of. So that's what it means in this context over here. So it's come from that word, what you're saying. Sar, anybody know what Sar is? It's not Sir. I'll give you. Yes.
A river.
Sorry?
A river.
Yes. So a Sar, one of the things that Sar can mean is river. Okay? Excellent. To flow. Vagana. Punjabi. Okay, yeah, so Sar here, often Sar is translated to Sarovar, meaning a tank or a pool, so lake. It can be translated to river, which in this context we are going to translate to river. Ocean, or we can translate to ocean as well in this context, okay. But often Sar will mean a pool, so Sarovar, okay, like a tank. Veh, flow, that's fine. Kamal, lotus flower. Fulle, blossoms, and then Akas means sky. Literal translation of this Pankti. So within your divine law, the ocean flows in the desert and the lotus blossoms in the sky. That makes sense, doesn't it? We all know what that means, don't we? Yes? No, okay, so this is the fun part. So this is when Guru Sahib is using metaphors and nobody really knows what they're saying. So what people do is they just try and understand it from other parts of Gurbani. Sometimes certain metaphors Maharaj is used, other parts of Gurbani haven't actually described it or translated it. So it's literally just left for the Sangat to try and just understand it from their general knowledge of Gurbani, even though Maharaj hasn't given us a precise meaning. So this is obviously a metaphor. What are they saying? So what you've got to think of is now, what is this Thal? What is this ocean? What is the desert, the dry land? Or a river flowing, however, the thing is to think about water flowing. And remember, there's no right answer. It's however you feel. Okay. And then what could the lotus be? And what is the sky referring to? Sky in Gurbani has been described of what the metaphor can mean in Gurbani itself. but to put it into this context doesn't work. So it's left very open. It'd be nice for someone to just give it a random shot. Anyone? I thought you looked like you was gonna go for it, Benji.
It's probably all wrong, but in my head I'm thinking if we're looking at ourselves as going within ourselves, and that's where our God lives within us. The ocean I would refer to as what's inside of me, because the desert is something we would refer to that requires substance. You know, it's dry. You're thirsty for something. So the ocean that you require is that water flow. This could be through you gaining the knowledge of Bani, because obviously this person is obviously thirsting for something. The lotus and the blossom, the first thing that popped up in my head is sky being the thing that you see at the highest form here in the sky is up there. I would think of my the Sundar here, and when you're doing your Naam Simran and you have that feeling, that emotion that we're trying to evoke inside of us, that's what blossoms inside of us. Okay, excellent. So Akash in Gurbani has been used for Dasam Dwar. So it can be looked at like that. Gurmukh Antar Sahaj hai man chadya dasve Akash. So it has been used for Dasam Dwar. So Gurmukh Antar Sahaj hai, Marji saying those that have found Sahaj inside, that peace inside. Gurmukh Antar Sahaj hai man, my mind. Chadya has gone to Chadya Dasave, to the 10th Akash, the 10th sky, meaning to the 10th gate. Okay, so excellent. That's really good. So remember, there's no it's hard to get this wrong because it's very left open for the Sangat to however we feel, and it's going to be that personal relationship then you form with that Pankti. Okay. Shall we move? Okay, Rad.
There's a thing like the body for something that's something that's just like material, and that's like finite, for something that's going to disappear. And the ocean being Rab, so like how we say, Rab's within everything. So you can imagine like the ocean just flows within everything. So within this desolate body, there's an ocean. So it's trying to make, it's like Guru trying to tell us that within our body there's something pure, there's something amazing, there's something that won't ever be killed. And that is like the ocean. So even within, like, sometimes we feel sad, so we feel depressed, we can liken that to like the desert, but within that there's hope, there's ocean where we can circle on. And then the lotus and the sky being our mind. So in the sky, like, we have those like clouds, sparky thoughts, thoughts that we can't share with like our brothers or sisters, with my best friends, thoughts that sometimes we're scared that we have ourselves. Even within there's a lotus, there's someone that we can turn to, someone that's something that's beautiful in there, which is like a light, a ray of light, like pushing through all that dirt, all that, and there's something pure there as well.
Okay, excellent.
I took it in a completely, utterly different way, because I was thinking of the body of purpose, the cripple can walk across the mountain, and an ocean would Maharaj just an ocean would rule the desert if Maharaj wants it to. And I would just
say that the ocean can
flow in the desert.
Okay.
Even if Maharaj wants it to.
Yes.
The desert we would think, it's dry and there's nothing there. But if Maharaj wants it to happen in a different way, it can happen.
I think one of the Mahaprabhu Steaks have actually looked at it like that and said that, because remember we're saying that Bani, so it's like within your system and law, if you want this to happen, that there's a way and there's a system where you could even have an ocean flowing where there's dry and complete dry land. So that's looking at it. You mean physically, don't you? Yeah. Okay, yes. So that has been looked at in that way by Amir Bandar Steak, and Gyani Thakur Singh does reference that too. Excellent. See, it's really good because, like, see, without even reading translations, you guys are thinking here and you're really having to go deep inside. And this is what I feel is that relationship with Maharaj. And I feel a lot of people are losing this relationship with Guru Sahib Ji. We're becoming too dependent on other people. And then within some systems, it's become this hierarchy system where it's become that, well, you can never know as just general Sangat. You have to go through the system, you have to go through the Sant, through such and such, through a Brahmgyani, and then only they can know, they can pass it on. But fair enough, ultimately, a Brahmgyani will only know the absolute truth, but I don't feel that nobody should ever take away that personal relationship. Like, you didn't even know that Arth has already been done. but just by contemplating it's come from inside. So this is what I'm hoping, that to empower this gun inside of everyone to help build. This is you building a relationship with your guru. Benji, you was gonna.
I was just saying, you know how you were saying about the farm that we got no control over it.
Mm-hmm.
I thought this was just expanding on that, so that similar to what Benji was saying. But for me, because the ocean flows in the desert, we can't ever do that, or it seems an impossibility. But because we can't ever have that control, like on the reaction, like you were saying, and that goes into the Bana bit, within the Bana, you don't have control over it.
Yeah,
It's
excellent.
out of your control.
So we might not be able to comprehend it, but it doesn't mean it can't happen, and it doesn't even mean it's out of law. It's just that we've not understood and seen the law to be that far yet. We've not seen that far into the way Akal Purkh works.
Just to simplify it, basically I think it's like it's according to like one Guru's will. He could, if he wanted to have the ocean in the desert, he could put Bani there.
Excellent. Hanji. That's it. So that's what Benji's was saying, and just to put it into simple words. Excellent. Another way of looking at it is what I'm going to read out now. So this has been taken from a Steek called Amir Pandar. It's been taken from Professor Saib Singh, and kind of all muddled up together, and somehow of what I already felt as well. And because when I think of dry, a dry place, I think of something being dry, then I relate it to being stubborn and having that stubborn mind. So that's how I looked at it. So within your divine law, the river of love, so now we're translating the sar to love. So within your divine law, the river of love flows in dry, stubborn minds that were full of ego at one time. And virtues, so the lotus here of it is virtues, and virtues blossom in the heart, and so we're translating the akas to heart. So we're saying that like when within Waheguruji's law, within that system, so even though there are stubborn minds that will never move away from the way they see things, but Guru Sahib Ji has the power, Akal Purkh has the power to even break that stubborn mind down and have this river of love flow through those minds too. And these, because remember, like a lotus flower has many qualities. As a quality, it signifies detachment as well. So these virtues start to flow inside of being detached in, and the sky just meaning within ourself, within our heart and mind. So it's another way of looking at it. Okay, so just in case anybody's mind did start falling into kind of this, I just wanted to make sure that we don't fall into this trap. That sometimes some people will their minds will just go into this. They'll think, well, you know what? If I'm stubborn at the moment, well then that's it. I can't do anything. Whenever it's meant to be, then that river of like love will start flowing inside of me. Bas, And there are people that just trying to get out of it, and they will just translate it in that way. But as we know now, we're talking about there's a system behind all of this. So even for that river to start flowing, it happens with, remember what we said within the divine law, remember, so there's something that's happened for that law to take place, for that river to flow. So there's had to be something happen before that. So it doesn't mean you just, this isn't a like get out of kind of like card to say, well, theek hai, jadon hona hai ho jayega, jadon at the moment I'm stubborn, so then what? Koi nahi kuch kar. It doesn't mean in that way. So it's just to stop breaking our minds away from that now. It's to say making an effort. You can make an effort, okay? And so keeping that now in mind, it means that we can make an effort to break down this stubborn mind. It's like just like a stone. If you just leave it there, nothing happens to it. But then even a stone like that can be grinded down into dust. You can start breaking it down. Okay, so then what we've got to start thinking is not be passive, we've got to be active. So now what we want to do is say become active, ask Guru Sahib Ji for the strength to say, I'm going to work on breaking this stubborn mind down. So remember, whenever we think of that, then we can think of the concept of Bhai Gurdas Ji's Kabit. So when we say that Charan, Sharan, Gur Ek, Panda Jai Chal. So when we think that we're going to take that into everything in our life, everything. So whether it means that, okay, I'm a bit stubborn, my mind is full of ego and I'm just stuck in the way I am. So it's saying that, okay, I'm going to make an effort to start breaking this mind down. Let's talk about how later. But then what have we just done by saying I'm going to make that effort to do something? And this isn't in homer, this isn't in ego. Okay, this is just in that sense of like this humble being is going to make an effort. What we've just done then, Charan, Sharan, Gur Ek Panda, we've just taken one step towards doing something positive. What will happen when we take that one step to start trying to work on actively, consciously to break our stubborn mind down? Satgur Kot Panda Aage Hue Let Hai. Satgur, then the Kirpa will start to flow, Satguru Ji will come and take millions of steps to help us break this stone down. Okay. Always think being active. And when we're active and we start breaking that down, what will happen? Our true self will start to appear. So that light will start to push through. We are the light. We are that form of compassion. We are all of that. But only when we start breaking down that stubborn mind will our true self start to come through. Just like Bhagat Farid Ji says, Aap sawar hai, main mila hai. That when I start cleaning myself, the same thing as what we're saying, breaking myself down, cleaning myself. When I start actively making an effort to break these things down, then what am I doing? Aap sawar hai. You're cleaning up inside. You're making an effort. Aap sawar hai. What will happen? Aap sawar hai, main mil hai. You'll get to meet who? Main, your true self, what you really are. That will start to manifest and come through that light of compassion and all these qualities that Waheguru Ji is made up of. Main milya sukh hoye. We will only be happy, true happiness, when we meet and we let our true self come out. Okay. So, just to give you some ideas, okay, so when we're saying being active, Guru Sahib Ji talk about this as well. Guru Sahib Ji give us ideas as well, okay. Don't get confused, okay, so this is an example of, so Hong Gosain da Pehelwanada. What's a Pehelwan? Yeah, a wrestler, okay. So he's saying this is an example now of a wrestler. I'm going to mix it up a bit with a boxer and a wrestler. So don't think I'm getting it confused. I know it means wrestler, but I'm going to cross over to boxing as well, okay. But keeping it's the same thing. So this is how we've got to see it now. Hong Gosain, remember being active to start breaking down this mind. Hong Gosain da Pehelwanada. We've got to imagine now this whole world that is created by Gosain, by Waheguru Ji, and we've got to imagine all of us, all of human beings to be like wrestlers that belong to Waheguru Ji. Okay? So we've got to imagine this world to be like this massive boxing ring or wrestling ring, however you want to see it, okay? So we've got to just, if we start imagining these things, when we're there in the moment, when we're challenged, believe it or not, all these ideas will actually work. That ma gurmil uch dumalada, ma gurmil uch dumalada. What's a dumalla? Dumalla. We've all heard this word, yes? Somebody will say, Paji, you've got a dumalla on. And so a lot of people will say, dumalla. Does anybody know what it means? The background of dumalla, what it actually means, come from?
No, I've heard this word dumalla. It comes from do.
Hanji. Yeah. So do just means two, mal means like the kapara. But the word dumalla, this whole thing of this concept of dumalla has been around for many years. And when I say many years, even before Guru Sahib Ji's time, the dumalla wasn't introduced by Guru Har Gobind Sahib Ji Padshah. It was something that has always been around. So, what is it? Where does it come from? Dumalla signified something. Dumalla was basically, so who gets this title as a Pahlawan? Could you call me a Pahlawan? Sorry? Why? At least Baji's honest. Okay.
I don't mean like that.
No. So Baji is saying, I can't be classed as a Pehlevan because I'm too small. Any other reason? So, okay, if I said, let's just pick anyone else then, Baji. Is Baji a Pehlevan? Sorry? Anybody? Okay, so most people are saying Baji's got a better chance of having the title of being a Pehlevan than I have, okay? Theek hai. Jet?
I was just going to say, wrestler for me, like a warrior. If you're taking that concept of being ready for battle, anyone can be a warrior. If you think about the one thing Gurbani where it says, Jako Hararangalago Sijuguman, so the one who carries the love for Vajra in the heart, know that person to be a warrior. The one that's ready to fight their mind.
Okay, yeah. So that is the part of arth, so the inner meaning of it. But what I'm trying to ask is, what's the history of a Dumalla? And how does somebody get the title of a Pehlevan? Obviously, somebody that is actually a wrestler. You can't just call anyone a Pehlevan. And who would normally get that title as a Pehlevan is a wrestler that's won many matches. Eventually, when you look at someone and they've got strength, they've got skill, and they keep winning and they keep beating their opponent, and you'll say Pehlevan hai banda. So Veerji, for example, might be a wrestler but loses all the time. I'd feel embarrassed even calling him a Pehlevan. But then I know that Veerji wins most of his matches, and I'll say, Pehlevan hai. Yeah. Veerji thinking, I am, He's getting pumped. Yeah, so everyone understand what Pehlevan means. Somebody that is known to win matches, might lose the odd one, but that is known to be a good wrestler. And then the word Dumalla, where that's come from is basically when somebody started to get known, when somebody would go into for a match and they'd win a match, then they'd actually be given a prize. And that prize, normally it could have been a surupa, so like a piece of kapra, and it was tied on their head and everybody would see. So what he would do then is come for his next match with that tied. He might have 3 tied, 4 tied, and then if he's come up tied with 10 and he's up there, everyone's like saying, yo, I don't want to fight him because I know he's won loads of matches, he's a Pehlevan. That's where the Dumalla came from. The bigger it was, it signified the more matches you've won, and it showed the world that this guy's next level, as my son would say. He may have got a prize as in money as well. They would have that displayed somehow, and people would be afraid of them. So this is now how we've got to think of that. Pane thal sir sarveh kamal fulle akas jiyo. So we've got to think now, this stubborn mind of mine, I'm going to become a Pehlevan. I'm going to make my guru proud of me. So imagine being now in this world of this ring. But all this boxing ring is inside of us. Yeah, and that boxing ring is what? Is that what we said, like that stubborn mind is things like krodh, things like anger, things like lobh, things like greed, things like lust. These things, imagine now, there are opponents. And how do we get this title? We might not win the first time, but when I meet my guru, my gur mil uch dumalada, I end up getting a bigger and bigger dumalla. Why? What does my guru do for me? He's an amazing trainer. He trains me to become conscious. He trains me to be able to see anger. Once I can see anger, I can put a fight up to it. If I can't even see anger, then I can't even fight it. Because there's a time in our life we might be so ignorant being very simple, we might walk into this room, black it out, how am I meant to fight anyone if I can't even see you there? Then you could just come up to me, rob me senseless, slap me around, kick me to the floor, job done, and out of there. I was like, Master Dekhya. Yeah. But what does Guru Sahib Ji do for us? Ma Gur Mil. Guru Sahib Ji makes us conscious, meaning switches the light on to give us the ability to be able to see krodh coming. There might have been a time in our life that we get stuck in a situation and we don't even realize that I got angry. We're acting in a way and I don't even realize I'm acting out of greed. My guru gives me this ability to realize I'm acting out of greed. Once you can see, then what can you do? Put your gloves on and give it a fight. But the first few times, because you don't know the skills and you don't know how to, you might get knocked down. In the end, growth still wins. In the end, lobe still gets the better, greed still gets the better of you. But what are you doing? What did they say? What do you say to sometimes the kids? It's good to take a beating. Why? Because you're getting stronger. And you're not only getting stronger, you're getting to learn the opponent's skills. So you're getting to know, okay, he got me that way that time, but this time I know I'm going to be prepared to block that. So now I'm starting to see how anger works, because I'm active now. I'm consciously making an effort. So when I see now it's coming at me this way, I got beat last time that way, but now I'm going to try this with it. So it's this battle inside, and eventually the more we make an effort, the stronger we'll become. A problem that happens today is that people are relying on saying that, well, if I just read Gurbani in the morning, that'll do it for me itself. That will get rid of my anger, it will get rid of my greed. It will help towards it. It is helping towards it. How? Because Gurbani is that light. Gurbani is that wisdom that is showing us. To an extent, because we haven't got the strength to actually actively put a fight up to these, to things like Kaam, Guru, Lobh, Mohankar. What ends up happening is we're saying, well, if I'm jumping Naam, that will get rid of it itself. Yes, chopping Naam gets rid of sukam things inside of us, things that are fine inside of us, these fine habits that no matter how hard we try, we just can't see. It can help towards these things. But when something is so out of control and so big, we've got a job to do as well. We've got to actively work on it, and it's hard. It's one of the hardest things you'll ever do, especially when it's with your partner, with your siblings, with your family, because that's where you're comfortable. You'll be more on guard when you're outside, especially in Sangat, because you want to perceive yourself to be a certain way. But when you're at home, your guard's down. When your parents, mother, father says something, you don't really think, you react straight away in a harsh manner, in a harsh tone. Like you act out of ego. When your sibling says, "Eh, kaun hai?" Like, "Bhai hai mera," like, "Eh, kaun hunda mainu puchhan lai?" Who's he to tell me to get up from here, to sit here? Who is she to keep saying, "I'll do the Hoover in my own time"? Who is she, like referring to your wife or your partner, who is she to keep saying it to me again and again? But this is where now we've got to then wake up and consciously put a fight up. So as we keep fighting it consciously, and you're probably thinking, how? Just by doing this vichar, we'll be more aware of when it happens. Just by doing this, it'll just become, we'll start to awaken, and we'll start to see things coming to us. We'll think, right there. And what we've got to think is what I said to Riji was a few weeks ago. Imagine this now. Imagine you're getting angry, and your ego is not allowing you to back down out of a situation, and you're going into your anger, so you're letting it win you. But one thing I do for myself to help me is, I think that after, remember you've got 2 minute round, for example. So you remember, imagine this is a ring. You're in a ring, you've got a 2 minute round, and remember when you've had your 2 minutes, who do you got to go back to?
Trainer.
Your trainer. Imagine your trainer sitting there. Who's our trainer? Kalgitar Padsha. Imagine Guru Gobind Singh is waiting. Imagine because of our ego, we just let anger get the better of us, and we've got to imagine who we've got to face when we turn back. Are we going to make our Guru proud to say, "Guru Sahib, I actively put a good fight up and I did well, and is my Guru going to give me a thapdi, a well done, a pat on my back, or did I completely give in to my ego, and then am I going to disappoint my Guru?" these are just little ways that we could start introducing that can start helping. And I've constantly, literally, I've got this picture in my mind when a situation comes up, a literal ring, and imagine it that Guru Gobind Singh Ji Paatshah Ji sitting there and waiting, and I've got to go back and face and say, Guru Sahib, you know what, I've let you down, and people are going to point at you as well because you're my trainer. So people are going to say, he didn't train him well enough, and it was because of my own ego. I just couldn't be bothered to put a fight up to it. Okay, so these are practical ideas. Pane Pavjal Langiye, Pane Manj Pariyas Jiyo. Just to do a few words first before we get into it. So let's do Pavjal. Yeah, it comes up a lot, so I'm sure the Sangat has read this. Sorry? Okay, yes. Samundar, ocean, Pavjal, often in Gurbani referring to what?
A jug.
Sorry?
The world, the world like an ocean.
Sorry?
It's the world like.
Okay, so referring it as in to the world ocean. So referring to this world as an ocean, and we'll look at why. Okay? Yeah, let's look at that first. So, Pavjal, world ocean. This world being like an ocean that is drowning us with attachment to impermanent things. Okay, so that's one way of looking at it. Why is it called a world ocean? Why is Pavjal world ocean? Because we can imagine it like an ocean, but an ocean that we're drowning in if we're attached to the things within this world. Langiye, obvious, yeah, to get across. Okay. Manj, anybody know what manj is? It comes up quite often in Gurbani. If you know this word, it will help in other parts as well. Manj, anyone? Hath chak ke aad ka lad peiyan pehna sadiyan kam pen ji. No, not yeah.
I thought it was like forest or jungle.
Okay, so manj here means, have I put it up? Here goes. Manj means vichahi, inside. Okay, manj. Pariyas, anybody know what's pariyas means? Like, remember, like we said, so don't let the dialect catch you out. Try and look for the actual original word within this. So don't let the iyas whole like kind of yeah parna, yeah, to fill. Okay, so remember we said this Elendi Pashaya, okay, Multani Punjabi, okay, from southwest unbroken Punjab. And that's why the accent, the dialects. Sorry. So there we go. So we got priyas can be translated to ruined or fill up. Okay, to fill something up. We'll look at why we've put ruined. But the literal translation means to fill. Okay, so that's the meanings. So somebody want to just try and put this together as a sentence? I shall put some pictures up for you guys so it can help you. So Pane Pavjal Langiye, Pane Manj Pariyas Jiyo. The first bit should be quite easy to translate. So somebody just translate the first bit. Pane Pavjal Langiye. Simple.
What's up the word ocean?
Okay, yeah. So Pane within Waheguruji's divine law, Pavjal Langiye. Some are able to cross over this world ocean. The second part not so simple to understand. Did everyone get that? Yeah. Okay. So then Pane Manj Pariyas Jiyo. So what's the opposite then? So there's one within Waheguruji's divine law that is able to get across this world ocean, but then there's the other that is Manj inside, Pariyas is filling themselves up with what?
Ego.
Yeah, you can look at it like that.
Or manmukh, they're just, not looking at the guru, but they're just, consumed in themselves, like, man or
Yes.
or, different things.
So even though it doesn't say it, but it's here, so we've got to then work that part out. So one is saying within Waheguruji's divine law, there's some that are able to get across, but then there's some that manj pariyas, they're filling themselves up with so much weight that they're drowning. They're filling themselves up with, I've used the word sins. So within your divine law, Waheguruji, some cross the world ocean. Within your divine law, some drown by filling themselves with the weight of sins in the world ocean. Okay, ठीक है? So we won't spend too much time on that. We'll move on. Okay. So Pane so Shol Rungula Sift Ratta Gunatastiyo. Let's look at the word Rangula. Comes up a lot in Gurbani. So now who is the Rangula here? The Rangula is Shaw, meaning the husband, meaning Waheguru. So what is Rangula? Yeah, so that's what it literally means. Where did that voice come from? Okay, here you go. So the word Rangula means colourful. In Gurbani, what did they use the word Rangula for? Keeping the word colourful in mind, but just to...
Dyed in the sort of colour of Guruji.
Okay, no, this is talking about Waheguru. So often Waheguruji is described as Rangula. Rav, you've been doing a lot of homework.
Paint.
Sorry?
Is it a paint?
Painter.
As in...
Oh, it's an excellent way of looking at it, but no, that's not the way it's come up. Rav, have you looked at this word yet?
Is it meant to be coloured?
No, so we're talking about, this is often in Gurbani, the word Rangula is describing Waheguru. And Benji said it, so literally it means colourful, but in Gurbani, it normally comes up as, it can mean all these different things. Rangula meaning blissful, beloved, playful. Playful is the word that's used often. So that's the word that will be used most often. Okay, so playful coming from colourful. Okay, so Waheguruji being very playful. And those that get close to Waheguruji, they will start to feel Waheguruji to be playful as well. It's an experience, you'll actually get to experience Waheguruji being playful within yourself. Okay, and you start understanding how playful Waheguruji is within the world as well. Okay, sift meaning praise. So we've got the word Ratta. So it's not spelt Ratta. How is it spelt? How is it spelt? Just look at the board. How would you say that? How would you say that word after sift? Yeah, it just says Ratta, but we add an adak to it, because Ratta would be a little bit Ratta Jia, but it doesn't mean that. It's the word is Ratta. Now, so what does Ratta mean?
Red, like Ratta is like red, or in which like dyed,
Yes. Hanji, hanji. So Ratta means to be imbued, okay, to be coloured. Guru de rang vich range hona. Okay, so that's what it means. But so this is how important it is to pronounce Gurbani correctly. There's no adak there, but that's why we need to have something to know, or we need to know the meaning to know where to add an adak. Because if we said Pane so shoh Rangala sift Ratta, mean that then we would be saying, oh, this sift ta thodi jai bas. His praise is very little. No, but this is saying sift Ratta, imbued. Okay. Gurtas here means the treasure of virtues. Okay. And so, does anybody want to have a quick go at trying to put this together? There's a few versions and different ways that people have translated this. The common version that you get on Sikhi to the Max didn't make much sense to me. I couldn't connect to it at all. Shall we have a look at that? Just to show how different translations can be. So, by the pleasure of His will, that Lord becomes my husband. But I'm not sure how they've put that together from this. So, and I am imbued with the praises of the Lord, the treasure of virtues. So, it didn't quite flow for me, this translation, and I'm not sure how they got that the Lord becomes my husband, how they put that together from this, that so Shahurangala. Professor Saib Singh, so within your divine law, some find you, remember the divine law is how I've worded it, so within your divine law, some find you to be playful and loving. So we're translating here. So Professor Saib Singh is used for the word Rangala, he's translated it to Pyara, that oh Waheguruji Pyare Laggan Lapande. Okay, so I've just used the word loving, it's probably the closest I could put it into this sentence. Within your divine law, some find you to be playful and loving, because not everybody finds Waheguruji loving. What do people say to Waheguruji when something goes bad in somebody's life? They'll say, "Aaki kitta tu." You'll see that happens very often. You'll say to people, be saying to Waheguruji, "What have you done? What's this you've done to me? How comes you've taken my mum away from me so early? My job's gone. What's this? What have you done?" Not everybody. Because this might sound like something obvious, it's not obvious. There's not many people that actually find Waheguruji to be loving at all times. They question Waheguruji. Okay, so this is a very high avastha. Remember this soul bride that's pleased Waheguru. So it's her understanding these things. Okay, and then that within your divine laws, some find you to be playful and loving. Some, oh treasure of virtue. So over here, the gunatas jio, we're translating. So gunatas, we're saying that Waheguru, you are the treasure of virtues. So saying some, oh treasure of virtues, Waheguru, are imbued in your praise. And that flowed for me a lot more, this translation did, looking at it in that way. So, Pane, so, Shohorongala, that within Waheguruji's law, so, Shohorongala, that, so means that show, that pati, that Waheguruji, that husband, Rongala starts to feel loving to me. I can feel Waheguruji's love within everything. Okay? That Siftarata, I am imbued in your praise. And over here Gunatas is a name for Waheguruji, meaning the one that is the treasure of virtues. So I'm saying, oh treasure of virtues, Siftarata, I am imbued now in your praise. Okay. So next pankti, Pane Soho, again meaning husband Lord, Show Bihavala. This is an interesting word. I didn't have a clue what it meant, so I had to look it up myself. What is Bihavala? Anybody? Any guesses? I had never heard it before. So it must be completely from that side, or from belonging to that dialect, and not used in common in Punjab as we know it today. So we'll look at that in a minute. How Avan Jan Muyas to you. Any other words from that pankti? Muyas? Anybody for what Muyas is? I'll give you a clue. Anybody before I give you a clue? Moya. Hanji. Muyas, moya. Okay, so it means death. Okay, so this word bihavala, which was totally new to me as well, so means drona. To be under fear, when somebody is frightening. So when like you look at somebody and they frighten you, they look frightening. Okay, so somebody that is frightening. So Pane Shaho, now put this together. Pane Shaho Bihavala, we're saying that, oh Waheguruji, within your law, some find you to be frightening. Who here has experienced that? To find Waheguruji to be frightening. You had a few hands up there, okay. And this is Ho Avan Jan Muyas Jiyo, and then the word Muyas means, so it means to die, okay. Marana. So let's put this into a sentence now. Within your divine law, O husband Lord, you frighten me when you send the messenger of death. I continue to experience death by coming and going. So that to die, so over here how we're translating this is that you are frightening. Why? When do I find you frightening? When you send that messenger of death to me and I get frightened. How me? When you send that messenger of death to me, what happens? Ho avan, I come, John, and I go, Muyas. I keep dying. Over and over again, I keep dying, I keep coming and going. Because remember, this has happened to us before. We've seen death before, but we're still scared of it in this life. So just like Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji Pach says that Janam Janam Parmat Firyo Mityo na Jam Ko Tras, that for many janams, Janam Janam Parmat means that I've been wandering, lost, going round and round. Firyo Mityo na Jam Ko Tras. Jam here is the messenger of death. Tras, what does Tras mean? Sorry? No, not here.
It's like
That would be like it might come up as the same word, I'm not sure, but Uddaha, the word te and like tre can mean pyas. But tras, look, maran kal ka tras nivarya. Now that should be easier now to understand. Maran kal ka tras, fear. Excellent. So keep an eye out on this word because it comes up in Chaupi Sahib. Okay, tras means fear. That Guru Sahib is saying that it's happened to me so many times, I've died so many times, I've come and gone so many times, but this fear of death is just not going. So Kaho Nanak Har Pajmana Nirpay Pavhe Bas. What we need to do is that Kaho Nanak, that Guru Nanak Dev Ji Pacha Ji in the form of Guru Tegh Bahar Ji saying har bhaj mana, that meditate upon Waheguru Ji's name, that make that deep, meditate meaning here, make that deep relationship with Waheguru Ji, that fear goes, that Pajamana nirpa pavhe bas, that your vasa, where you start to live, so that you can start to live in a place where you have no fear. Har melho swami sang prabh. So we're saying that when I meet you, O Waheguru Ji, when I come into your house, only then those fears will start to go. Until I still see myself as a body, that fear is going to remain. Until I don't go beyond and that realization that I'm not this body, until then that fear is not going to go. So this is now coming towards the end. So the whole concept of the pane is now gone. So now this is the last three pangtiyan, and this is like, I found these to be amazing. This really hits me, these pangtiyan do. So now she's saying that tu shaho agam atolava ho kah tehe pe yas jiyo. So let's do a few words. The word agam comes up in Gurbani very often. What does agam mean?
Unfathomable.
Yes, it does mean that, but I can never say that word. And every time I see that word, I'm thinking, what does that mean? And that's how a lot of these translations do. And it's like, and we're still in the same place. I'm thinking, Agiya. Okay, so it does mean that, whatever that means. What does that mean?
Can't be understood.
Can't be understood? Yes. So literally.
Really deep, so that's so deep that you can't quite understand.
Okay, so yes. Okay, let's just look at the literal meaning, which is what Jet is saying. So that's the literal meaning, which is what you just said?
Unreachable.
Okay, out of reach. So where does this all come from? So the word agam, the era is just is negating it. So the word is actually gaman. Punjabi word is gaman. Gaman means to reach. But now agam means apahunch. वो अपहुंचा, ਉਹਦੇ ਤੱਕ ਪਹੁੰਚਿਆ ਨਹੀਂ ਜਾ ਸਕਦਾ. Beyond reach, inaccessible. To what though? That means that, because then I would think that I can never make it back to Waheguru. It's not saying that. It's saying that you are out of reach to my senses. I have to go beyond my senses and look with my inner eye. Okay? So, ਜਿਸ ਨੂੰ ਗਮਨ ਨਹੀਂ ਕੀਤਾ ਜਾ ਸਕਦਾ ਪੰਜਾਬੀ ਵਿੱਚ. So, ਜਿਹੜਾ ਅਗੰਮ ਆ, ਜਿਹੜਾ ਆਪਣੀ ਪਹੁੰਚ ਤੋਂ ਬਾਹਰ ਆ. Okay? So, what is atolva? Who saw that? Sorry? Measurement? Sorry. All right, break the word up, because the ara negates it. So break it down now. Okay, yes. So the word is tol. Tol means to measure, to weigh. Somebody that is beyond measuring. There we go. Yep, atolava. So the word we're going to look for in there is tol, measure, and then the ara atolava means immeasurable. Okay. Kehe means to say, so that's a nice easy one. Tehe, again easy one. Tehe. Hanji? Excellent. Hanji. To drop, to fall means har man lani. That's what falling means in Gurbani. So we've got tehe, and then payas.
Thirsty.
So this doesn't mean thirsty here. So let's try and put it together, and then try and work out what it means from putting it together. So we're saying now, tu show, O my husband Lord, tu show agam. You are agam. You are out of the reach of my senses. Atolava, you are immeasurable. I can never know how great and big you are and what you are doing. And then ho me, ho kehe, kehe. As I'm trying to explain what you're about, as I'm trying to understand you, as I'm saying, the more and more I'm saying, I'm realizing I can't. So what happens? Tehe, I fall. Tehe payas, payas. So I've fallen, and payas jiyo. Hey Waheguru Ji, मैं डेग पिया तेरे चन्ना च विच तां मैं प्यास में पिया होया आ. I am laying. Okay? So I am laying in your charan. मैं पिया होया आ ताडे चरना विच. Okay? So You, O my husband, Lord, are inaccessible and immeasurable. Talking and speaking of you, I have fallen at your feet. There you go. And there's a beautiful pankti that comes to my mind every time I read this. And that is a pankti by Guru Arjan Dev Ji Paatshah saying something very similar. Guru Sahib Ji saying that har beyant ho mit kar varno kya jana hue kaisure. It's a beautiful pankti saying that har beant, oh Vaheguru Ji, beant, you are limitless. You have no end. Ant means end, but you are beant, without, you have no limit. Har beant. But what do I end up doing? Guru Arjan Dev Ji says, ho mit kar varno. Every time Guru Arjan Dev Ji said, I speak of you, ho mit, varan means to explain, to speak of you. They said, every time I'm speaking of you, ho mit, I end up putting a measure on you. I just mess it all up. Ho mit kar varno. That's how I see this pankti to be. I don't know how it's translated. How mit kar varno. Then they just fail, and then they just fall, and they say, kya jana hoye kaisure. How do I know? How can anyone know what you're really like? I just never do it justice every time I try it. Every time I try and explain, I never do it justice. That's the pankti, and it's translated as, the Lord is limitless, but I can only describe him within my limitation. What do I know about what he's like? So what is this? Now, this is, we end up doing this. And a lot of us thinking, no, I don't do that. I don't try and put a measure on Vaheguru. But without even realizing we're doing this all the time, what are we doing? We're trying to understand Vaheguru. We're trying to get everything. We're constantly trying to put a limit on without realizing that's what we're doing. So instead of falling in praise of Vaheguru Ji and being in awe of Vaheguru Ji, we get stuck and trying to calculate everything and make sense of everything, and we're trying to understand and try and find the limit. Even though we say no, we can never know the limit of Vaheguru, but our mind keeps falling into that trap and it's trying to actually find the limit of Vaheguru. And what happens? You go mad because you think, I can't do it. And I share something personal with you. I find that with myself. I just think, and now it's just feeling like my head, when your head's just heavy, you think, I don't get it, I don't get it, I don't get it, I don't understand nothing, I don't understand nothing. And you just you're getting tired because you've just been trying to put a limit on Vaheguru by trying to understand the game. But what can we do? But where that avastha, this pankti, what stage is this pankti in? Is that tu shaho agama tolvaho keh keh. What does it mean to fall and be laying at your feet? It means that har gun kehte, I was praising you, I was saying so much about you, but a time came when it went beyond that. Kehna na jai, I can't say no more. I've just gone in absolute silence. No words now can do justice. I just have gone into this absolute silence inside. I've surrendered, I've given up. And then this is the following pankti from that. From that, imagine her now laying on the floor, given up, saying that I've said as much as I can, but now I can't do no more. She says, Kya mango? Kya keh suni? Main darshan bhook pyas chi hu. So, this now, she's saying that, Kya mango? What can I even ask for now? Kya keh suni? What can I say that you will listen to now? What is it? Is there anything left for me to say? There's nothing. I can't say nothing. All I know now is main darshan bhook pyas chi hu. I've given up trying to understand you. I just want to see you now. I just want you now. That's it. I want nothing else. I've got this deep inner desire, this book, this hunger, this pyas, this thirst. When Guru Sahib Ji here, I feel when they say put these two words together, book and pyas, why are they using both? Why are they using hunger and thirst? Because now they've gone beyond limits of trying to actually define something to say pyas means this, book means this. It's just saying it's all of it. I just don't know. I don't know anything. I'm just dying from inside now. It's just when you're in silence, there's nothing else to say. Like Guru Ramdas Ji explained and say in their Bani that har darshan ko mera man bahut tapte jo trikhavant bin neer. They says just like that person that is dying of thirst without water. And for me now, it's become like that. Without seeing you now, it's like getting no water. And just like the body is in absolute agony and is in pain and wanting and needing that water, now I can't survive until I see you. Until I see you now, my inside is just dying. And in the end, Guru Sahib Ji says that Gur Shabdi Shau Paya Sat Nanak Ki Ardas Jiu. Shabdi here means teachings, it's plural. And then Sach, meaning true, genuine, from my heart. So Sat Nanak Ki Ardas, this Ardas, this Benti is from the core of my heart. Guru Sahib Ji saying, this is how I see it to be. So Sach here, by Professor Sahib Singh, according to grammar, he's translated Sach here to being Waheguru. And but if we go beyond the limitations of grammar, and then we can look at it in this way, which some people have translated it in this way too. This is how I see it to be. That through the Guru's teachings, I have found my husband Lord. Guru Sahib Ji saying, this is how I found that Akal Purkh. Guru Sahib Ji saying, then this is Nanak's true humble request. Those that have that thirst to meet Waheguru Ji, then give yourself to the Guru. That is the only way. That is the only way. Because when we go to a Guru because we still haven't found peace. We still got questions. We've got doubts. Guru Sahib Ji says, Guru Amar Das Ji says that Uttar gyo mere man ka sansa jab te darshan paya. Over here, if we read the translation, it says that the anxiety of my mind departed. Even though they've used the word anxiety, there is nothing within this. They've translated sansa to anxiety, but sansa doesn't mean anxiety. But I've left it up there just so that the Sangat understand that there is a lot of mistakes. Sansa means doubt or confusion. Saying that when I gazed upon the blessed vision of your darshan, but the darshan of who? The darshan here isn't talking about Kalpurk. He's saying that Uttargyu, my doubts and confusion has gone, jabte, when darshan paya. Keda darshan, when I've seen who? Huh? Huh? Hanji? Guru. So Guru Sahib, when we've then met Guru Sahib Ji, so this isn't talking about Waheguru Ji here. It's saying that when my confusion and doubts, when I met Guru Sahib Ji, all of that was departed. My doubts were gone when I met the Guru. This is the relationship we should have with Guru Sahib Ji. For me, what truly is a mantra? For me, a mantra is that the teachings of Satguru Ji. The mantra, the Guru Sahib Ji gives us two mantras. Guru Sahib Ji gives us a mantra, a word to recite, which the way I see is to help our mind focus, because it's so out of control, to bring it into focus. But then the other mantra is that Guru Sahib Ji gives us is Guru Sahib Ji's teachings. And that's what we need to give ourselves to, so we can eradicate and let go of all these doubts we've got in our mind. That's what it means to take on a Guru. To take on a Guru means to take someone on, to take away that confusion and doubts I have of how to live this life and how to find my true self. That is a mantra for me, taking the Guru's teaching to get rid of my questions. And eventually when I get to a darshan here for me means that jabte darshan paya, that when every time Guru Sahib Ji is taking away a doubt, I'm getting darshan. Every time Guru Sahib Ji is giving me clarity, I'm getting darshan. And so I'm being very kind of just sharing personally how these Pangatiya mean, what they mean to me. When there's no questions left, Guru Sahib has done their job. What is Gur Prasad? To me, Gur Prasad, Guru's grace is when we give up to say, I don't know. I don't know how to do it. I don't know how to escape. And when we take on and listen to the Guru, that is Guru Prasad. That is the Guru's Kirpa. When you're just letting go and you're just having absolute 100% faith in what Guru Sahib is saying. And then the last pankti of this shabad is that Kaho Nanak Gurbandan Kate Bichrat Aan Milaya. That when all my questions, all my confusion, doubts are gone, Kaho Nanak, Guru Sahib's taken away my bandhan, my attachments, and Bichrat Aan Milaya. That who I was separated from, Guru Sahib Ji has now united me back with. And that is Guru Shabdi Shopaya. Satadana ki ardas ji. Guru Nanak Dev Ji saying, I know this way works. Give up your syanam, give up your cleverness, and trust the Guru and give yourself to the Guru. And you will get to be with Vaheguru Ji as well.
Vaheguru, 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 Vaheguru.